Hello, welcome back to class. My name is Umo. So this is the second part of our class in which we try to replicate this dress with a couple of alterations. In the first part, I had drafted the pattern for the underbust corset and had explained a couple of things about the style. So in this class, I'm going to be continuing with the tutorial. However, please bear in mind that the full class on what we did with this dress, how we replicated it, has been included in the advanced online corset masterclass. So to purchase the full course, which includes this and so much more, please follow the seller link in the description box. And to find out more about this class, please send a WhatsApp message to the number that you can see on the flyer. So on to our class. This is what we had done in the first class. And then here I am going to work on the cup area of our corset. Remember that I said we're making a couple of alterations. So in the original one, the cup area was bare. Do you understand? So in our own, we're going to be including cups as well as a yoke. Do you understand that? So this is me creating the darts on my cup area. I marked 1 inch on both sides of that bust span line. Do you understand that? And then I'm using my French curve to create my dart. So this is what it looks like. So I've just created a dart on the cup area. Can you see that I'm shading it? These are also darts. Do you understand that? So the next thing now is to just sort of like create a sketch for how the cup area of my corset would be. So I'm just trying to use freehand to create the marking. So can you see what it looks like? Do you understand? So if you want a sweetheart neckline, or whatever, you can create whatever shape you want, It can also be this low. Do you understand? It can go whichever way you want it to go. And then the cup can have different designs. So it can have a rim at the top, which is what you saw me creating. Do you understand? A rim at the top, and then the remaining part of the cup would look that way. So this is my neckline, which is 5 inches by 3 inches. So neckline width is 5 inches, neckline depth is 3 inches. So remember that once your neckline width is more than half of your shoulder arc, you should actually subtract half an inch from the edge of your shoulder. So that's what you saw me subtracting. So this is me drawing out my Amvca. So you can see that I went in by half an inch at the shoulder tip. That is because I don't want the neckline this is going to be done with mesh. Do you understand? So you don't want that neckline to be dropping at the shoulder area. You don't want the shoulder of the yoke area not to sit at the edge of your shoulder. Do you understand? So I'm going ahead to also subtract that same half inch from the edge. However, this is my 5-inch width, and I'm just connecting because there's going to be zip at the back. Do you understand? Net can't carry zip. So I've just connected that with a straight line to the body of my corset at the back. So I'm subtracting that same half inch. It can be half inch, 3/4 inches, just depending on what you want to do. So I'm connecting it back. So I'm drawing out my arm. This is my arm side for the back that I've drawn out. Can you see that? So it's very important to subtract that half inch. I've done an explanation of that in my basic bodies class. So please follow. I think I'll drop a link to that in the description box so you can watch that. So this is my back pattern. So you can go ahead to just take out that last panel that I'm touching. Do you understand? Just because of the lacing that we're going to do at the back. However, you can also decide to measure 1.5 inches at that top and then 2 inches at the bottom. Do you understand that? Just so that we have space so that area will be covered with modesty panel. Do you understand? So that's just for the lacing, and then just so that we have enough space to really snatch. Do you understand? So I'm just going to go ahead and cut everything out. Can you see that? So I'm going to cut my front pattern. Please pay attention to everything that I'm going to be doing here. See where my back pattern is, and then the hem of my front pattern. And I'm cutting out my first panel as well as the cup area. And I'm cutting out the darts as well as the side seam. And then this is my side dart. Can you see the way that I have manipulated that dart. Can you see? I've manipulated the dart that was at the side to the middle area. Can you see that? So that there is not going to be any stitch at that point. Can you see? So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out my cup. Can you see that? And then cut out my side. So this is what my front pattern looks like. Bear in mind that the top part is going to be my yoke. So I'm just going to hold this together so you see what the cup actually looks like. So you can see that, see the front, my front yoke. So in drafting all this sort of pattern, ensure that you draft everything together. Do you understand? So that you cut out the yoke from the main pattern, and then when you are cutting out the yoke on fabric, you know, you have the exact thing. So you're not trying to, if you have a mannequin, an adjustable mannequin, you can do that on a mannequin, but it's always just better to draft all of the patterns together. So this is what my pattern looks like. Can you see that? So this is what my yoke area looks like. Can you see how I've cut that out? And then I'm going to go ahead and cut my back. Can you see that? Cut out the side area. I'm labeling the top of my back pattern so that I don't get confused, because you can mistake the top for the bottom. So this is it. And then you can also cut out that portion that we cut out, that we marked out for the lacing. So this is my back pattern. Can you see what it looks like? See my front pattern. I'm just placing them together so that you can see what it looks like. So in the third part of this tutorial, this series, we're going to be drafting the pattern for the skirt part. Do you understand that? I wanted to show that part. I'm just going to show the pattern drafting process. I'm not going to show the stitching process of the skirt part. So this is what pattern looks like. Can you see how smooth and nice it is? So this is my skirt pattern that I'm trying to draw. Remember that our half length was at 16.5 inches. Do you understand? Even though we had a full underbust corset, our half length was at 16.5 inches. So our skirt pattern is going to be starting from that 16.5 inches. Do you understand that? So start at 16.5 inches. The length I'm using is 62 inches. So 16.5 inches to 62 inches. So the navel is 19 inches. That's what you can see me marking. Navel to waistline is 7 inches. So that's 16 plus 7. That's 26 inches. Knee length is 39 inches. And then the full length is 62 inches. So I'm marking the same thing, and I'm going to just square out all of those lines. So please pay attention, close attention to what I am doing here. So this is my navel line, this is my hip line, and then this is my knee line. Do you understand that? So now I'm going to go ahead and mark my circumference measurements. So my waist arc is 7 inches. That's what you can see me marking. Remember that I'm not imputing any waist darts on this skirt pattern. So this is my hip that I'm marking. Hip arc is 9 inches. That's what you can see me marking. So on my knee now, I'm going to subtract 1.5 inches from that hip arc. So 9 minus 1.5, that's 7.5. So that is how to pencil the knee area of your skirts. Do you understand? So that was 7.5 inches you saw me marking. I'm just going to use my French curve to connect all of the points. And then for the hip, I'm just going to use freehand to connect that to my knee. So you can see what I have done. So I've connected that to my knee. Do you understand that? So this is my waist, my half line, sorry, my navel line, my hip line, then my knee line, and then my hem line. Can you see that? So this is my knee line. For my hip line now, because we're trying to create the tail, sorry, the A line part. Remember that the dress is actually flared from after the sort of like above the knee line. Do you understand? So mark 10 inches from your hip line. That's that point you saw me marking, and then from that point measure to the end of your the hemline of your dress. So I realized that my camera cut out the lower part, so I'm going to be doing another video where I would be illustrating this much more clearly. But measure to the end, to the hemline, from that point, that 10 inch below your hip line, measure to your hemline, and then add 1.5 inches to that. So if you had, so for example, I think I had 26.5 inches plus 1.5, that's 28 inches. So angle your tape rule in such a way that 28 inches stops at that hemline. Do you understand that? I'm showing a clearer video in the next class, so please watch out for that. And thanks for watching. Remember that to purchase the full course, the full advanced online masterclass on corsets, please follow the seller link in the description box. Thanks for watching. Ciao.